something that nearly every woman has to deal with.
Yeah, maybe even royalty. Coming up next, what you can do to help yourself or help someone else through postpartum depression and how to spot the signs that are happening. With the recent birth of the king-to-be, babies are on the brain right now for a lot of women. And while having a baby is one of the happiest experiences in a woman's life, those feelings of joy don't always last. Dr. DeRosa is here this morning to talk about why this happens. And we're not just talking baby blues.
No, and every woman is going to experience some level of the baby blues right after a pregnancy because you're getting a massive drop of hormones.
Oh, yeah.
Estrogen and progesterone are just crashing right after that birth. But also, there's all that excitement and anticipation for that birth of the baby, and all of a sudden, the reality of what's actually going on sets in.
And baby blues is different from postpartum.
Yes, because baby blues usually lasts about 2 to 3 weeks. It's a feeling of sleeplessness, a little bit of hopelessness, being overwhelmed, maybe crying a little bit too much. But once it starts to extend past a month, or the symptoms get really overwhelming, where you actually can't function, your quality of life is so bad that you're not getting sleep, you're hiding out under the covers, or you just feel that irritability, anxiety, panic attacks, crying all the time, then you're getting into some serious trouble.
Oh boy, so is this usually with any new mom or?
No, postpartum depression is not as common as we said, the blues is very, very common. But postpartum depression, you're talking about 10 to 20% of pregnancies that's going to occur. And you really need to keep an eye out for it. So again, you want to make sure that if you're not having a good social network, that you're reaching out to people to discuss that, because it can be pretty severe and it can be life-threatening, obviously, for the mother and the baby.
Of course, and we got some changes, some reasons why you get the postpartum. It's because of the massive change in your hormones, or changes in your body, your work and social bonds, less time and freedom for yourself, lack of sleep, which obviously comes with the baby. Let's talk about just some of the signs. I mean, obviously, let's just say you don't see them for yourself, because you usually don't see a lot of things when right after you have a baby. But how do you spot if your friend who has just had a baby has postpartum?
So if, for instance, when you're calling her on the phone and she avoids a lot of phone conversations, or she's crying, or has a feeling of kind of dread, when you get that kind of sense that something's not quite right, or if they start avoiding people where they normally would have social interactions and they no longer have those types of interactions, if they have angry outbursts and that's not typical for them, or they're real irritable and that's not typical for them. So you're looking for changes from their normal personality aside from just kind of day-to-day stress.
Yeah, I wonder, is it kind of clear if you're an observer, because sometimes it's really busy with the baby and your friend could change, you know, and it could be a little bit of irritability, but maybe not postpartum. Is it pretty obvious when you see it?
Usually it is, but if there's any concern whatsoever, it's always best to say something, because too often we're too polite to each other. We're afraid that we're going to hurt each other's feelings by bringing out something that may be negative. But you're always best in saying, hey, are you feeling okay? Is there something I can help you with? Are you feeling maybe a little more down, or do you need some help? And then even suggesting either some support groups, counseling, or seeing actually a physician if it continues on past a month.
And you know what, with those hormones raging, that's usually all you need to say for them to start talking about
And
it.
women were really good. We love to talk. The guys not so
Especially
much.
about babies.
But I think it's such a common thing that happens to women. It can be a bonding experience with mommy groups and different things, but you need to talk and know that it's okay to have those feelings after a pregnancy. It's very common to feel overwhelmed and have a lot of depression and anxiety symptoms.
Totally understand. It takes a village, right?
It does. It does take a village.
Dr. DeRosa, thank you so much. You always have great advice.